Boom, boom, boom. Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of the WikiLinks podcast. It's the grand finale. My name's George, and with me is the beaky tickler, Mr. Raver. It's Dean.
Blup, blup. Yay, safe as fuck.
How you doing, mate?
I'm good.
You're good. You're good. Yeah, that's nice and simple. Keep it snappy. Keep it punchy in this last episode, right?
That's the way, mate. If they're still with us, then God help them.
Yeah, all of our I should say both of our listeners have stuck with us from episode 1 to episode. This is 4, believe it or not. Quite staggering. 4 episodes of absolute unplanned, disorganized dross, but we've done it.
We've dribbled our way through 3 fantastic episodes, and we're here on the 4th, which is the decider, I believe.
It is, yes. I'm leading at the moment 3-1, but Dean can make it 3-3. There are 2 points to play for in this episode, so he can pull it back. And I'm not too sure about my fake news farts. I think you might stand quite a good chance with them this week, so that will probably help you.
Okay, that's good to know.
Who wants to go first this week, mate? Do you want to go first, or should I, in terms of the WikiLink battle?
Well, I do believe, have I gone first twice and you've gone first once? Is that right?
I have absolutely no idea. I can't remember.
Well, let's just go on that premise.
Okay, I tell you what, you challenge me. Let's do it that way. What's your WikiLink for me this week?
Okay, so now this WikiLink, it sounds easy on the surface, but when you dig a little deeper, you might find it a little bit challenging.
Okay, that's interesting. You've piqued my interest.
That's for the one and only time in the series. Here we go.
Oh, go on.
Your interest is piqued.
It really is. I can't wait to hear what you're about to say.
The anticipation is building. Right, so I want you to go from threads to the needles.
Fuck. Is that true?
Yes, but there is a catch.
Right.
So Threads is the 1984 film, and the needles is a geographical landmark.
Okay, right. Threads, the film. Okay. To a geographical landmark called the Needles.
Yes.
Okay.
Clever.
Okay. It's very smart, Dean. I've got to give you credit for that. It's not as smart as mine that I've got for you. That's for sure.
I've been working on this one all season.
Oh wow, you've been waiting to unleash this one on episode 4.
It's been a tough journey to get into this point. Each week just wanting to chuck it out there, but knowing I couldn't.
You've been holding on, yeah, because it's just such an exciting one from threads to needles.
It is.
Now, where are the needles? What are the needles?
Well, this is the thing. I didn't know how much information to give you, because obviously, if I tell you where they are, you can probably get to them quite easy.
I see.
If I don't tell you where they are, you'll never get to them. So it has to
be somewhere in the middle there. Yeah,
somewhere in the middle. Yeah. So I'm going to say they're in Europe.
Okay, I'm guessing it might be like some kind of mountain range, but with a name like that.
It could be. It certainly could be made of rock or mountainous material. Who knows? But
now yes. This could be a good few clicks for me. I see what you. Dean's desperate here to pull it back to 3-3.
Yes.
Have you seen the movie Threads, by the way, as we're on this page now?
It's something I really would like to see. I've heard it's really good, as well as being quite horrific.
It's really good as well as being quite horrific. Okay, yes.
It's a British-Australian apocalyptic war drama film by the BBC.
And you've never seen it?
And I've never seen it, no.
What made it pop into your mind purely out of interest?
I'm sure it was reviewed on, was it Charlie Brooker? Or don't quote me on this because it may not have been Charlie Brooker, but it was reviewed on something a while back. And I remember thinking at the time, I need to see that.
I mean, the tagline on the movie is the closest you'll ever want to come to nuclear war.
Yes.
Which is quite a perky tagline. The picture is quite sad as well, isn't it? There's a man that appears to be wearing some sort of Phantom of the Opera mask.
Exactly. Maybe that's the premise of the film. I don't know enough about it to really say, but he could be the main character.
Maybe this is the prequel to Phantom of the Opera? That would be clever. You don't realise that till the end, possibly.
Set in a dystopian future.
Yeah, and nuclear bomb takes off half this man's face, so he decides to play an organ.
His own organ.
You know what's better than roses on your piano?
Oh, I can only guess.
It's two lips on your organ.
Oh,
Oh, that's the first actual joke in the show.
hey, we got there.
Now, in here is a link for Carl Sagan, who's someone I really like. He did Pale Blue Dot. If no one's ever listened to that, it's a little piece. It's not poetry, but a little speech by Carl Sagan. It's really beautiful. Definitely check that out. On here is also a click for Third Degree Burn, followed very closely by Rice Krispies and tomato ketchup. I mean, just for interest there, I can read the sentence that contains those three links, which is quite odd. It says here, the makeup for extras playing third-degree burn victims consisted of Rice Krispies and tomato ketchup. So that's how you get those three things into a sentence.
Well, there you go.
There's also a click for neo-realist, which sounds very interesting, but I don't think it's going to get me to this. I am expecting a lot of clicks here because I don't know what the needles are. So where I start off will be quite tricky. You've told me it's in Europe, so I guess I'm going to head to Europe, and I believe it might be some kind of geographical thing, like I say, like maybe a mountain range. I'll be really, really stuck if it's maybe a castle or something, because then what will I do? But
I'll tell you what, it's a natural geographic feature.
It is a natural. Okay, I did think it was that. Okay,
so that helps.
That does. There's also a click here for mashed. No, there isn't. No, there isn't. It says mashad.
Ah, are you a little bit mashad there, George?
Right. So let's try and get off threads and give me my first click. I can click Northern England, and I can also
be too far away.
I can also click United States. So I already know you've told me it's in Europe. That was very decent of you. So I might just click on Northern England. So that's my first one.
We're there. Northern England, up north.
In case anyone doesn't know, I think it's pretty self-explanatory in the two words of the title, isn't it? Really,
Northern England.
Yes.
Well, perhaps you don't know where England is or what direction north is. In which case, you know.
In which case, you really should jump onto this page for Northern England because it'll be full of information for you.
I mean, I might be playing devil's advocate here, but I do believe there's probably one or two people out there
that don't know where England. That's almost certainly. I believe quite a lot of Americans don't know the rest of the globe, do they?
Poor fellas.
Now, this interestingly links back to my shout out later, but I'll have to keep you all on the edge of your seats.
Oh,
I'm looking now on this page for something to do with maybe topography or something like that.
Quite wise.
There's geography, and that has a link for the Pennines and glaciers. We could learn so much here, couldn't we? But we just use it for a stupid, pointless tin pot podcast.
Yeah, but maybe some learning will happen along the way. So, you know.
Well, of course, we have our sound clip to play if that happens, don't we?
We do. It's been a pretty grim episode, even by our standards so far. So we're on the geography of Northern England. No, just Northern England in general.
Northern England in general, and I've scrolled down to geography, and I'm just looking through there. I think I might just click the Pennines and jump to that, because something in my head tells me, like, what else could the needles possibly be other than a natural set of spiky-looking rocks? I mean, generally things are called their names for a specific reason.
There you go.
I mean, they are called. They could be stalagmites, stalactites. Which are the ones that hang down in caves? It's one of those two.
Stalactites, I believe.
So it could be a cave formation that you're telling me about. That could be these needles. But I've clicked it. That's number 2, and I'm on the Pennines.
Click number 2.
Let's just tell people what the Pennines are in case they don't know. The Pennines, also known as the Pennine Chain or Pennine Hills, are a more or less continuous range of hills and mountains running between 3 regions of northern England, northwest England on the west, and northeast England and Yorkshire and the Humber on the east. There you go.
The Humber. And Hull. Don't forget Hull.
Commonly described as the backbone of England. Do you have backbone?
Do I have a backbone, or did I have a backbone?
Do you have a backbone in the physical sense and the metaphorical sense?
I'm utterly spineless in all senses of the word.
Okay, well then, that's good. That's good to know. Is that why you're currently losing 3-1?
It is, and it's why I've created such a callous wiki link for you.
So yeah, such a tough one. Seeing as I really not entirely sure where to go from this point. Now I can click backbone as a click, but I don't think I'm going to go there.
No, it's probably not the best choice, I must confess. You've come across what it is already in what you've said so far. So you've already mentioned the shape of it, I would say.
Interesting. So it's just essentially either a mountain, a mountain range, or it's stalactites.
It's not stalactites or a mountain range, but something else.
Oh right, okay, something else I mentioned. Okay, and great. It would help if I had a useful memory, wouldn't it? Because I can't remember what else I said other than that. Now, if I read through here, it might give me an idea as what it could be.
Yeah, I mean, there's some interesting hills in the Pennines by the looks of it. Some strange names here: Micklefell, Bernholt Seat. Yes, Micklefell.
Oh,
maybe Mickle fell off.
Yeah, Mickle fell off it. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good joke.
It could be. High Seat. Maybe someone got high and sat up there. I don't know.
These are all great double entendres. Keep going. Give us another.
Well, I won't even get started on Black Chew Head.
Oh dear. No, that's ruined it, hasn't it? That one.
Depends what you're into, I guess.
Could you go from that back to that other wiki pager on the other day? What was it? Blackface?
No.
No, and you wouldn't want to either, would you?
No, definitely wouldn't. I want to put last episodes to bed, really, to be honest.
Which one?
All of them.
All of them, yeah. Welcome to episode 1.
No, this is episode 0. Hopefully the next one will be episode 1.
Yeah. Next, we'll start at scratch next time, guys, and this will just be released as a special edition, like our previous series. If anyone wants to hit us on the socials, then we'll release the heavily edited, bleeped versions of the previous series.
You'll love it.
Now I'm trying to see there are a lot of clicks in here, but I'm not totally sure which to go for. Areas of outstanding natural beauty. Now, see, that could be good.
That definitely could.
That really could be good, because that will open it up a bit rather than narrowing it like clicking spine.
It certainly should.
Right, I'm just going to do it. Areas of outstanding natural beauty. That's number 3.
And this is a nice topic to be on.
It is, and remarkably close to what I'll be talking about later. It's very strange how we keep doing this sometimes.
That is bizarre, isn't it? I mean, if you scroll down here, obviously it's under the heading of threats, which is a real shame. But there is the Falmouth Stadium, Brighton Hove Football Stadium there.
Where we're from.
And there was a big fight, apparently, between conservationists and the football club because of the fact that it was built within the boundaries of the Sussex Downs.
But of course, the football and money won, didn't it?
It did. It won the day.
I mean, it is a lovely stadium, but I must say I would probably prefer the nature.
Yeah, I mean, I went to the opening of the stadium for the Fatboy Slim gig. I've been to the stadium to watch football. I love having it in the city when I was living in Brighton, but I do agree they could have maybe demolished something else. Like there's plenty of kind of brown land in Brighton where they could have really built it instead of having to build it in the actual national park.
When you went to the opening, did you triumphantly stamp on some insects and rabbits and say, "Fuck you, we've won"?
I did. That was the best part, really.
Yeah, it was a bathing in blood while Fatboy Slim came on stage.
That was the best part, mate.
He didn't literally come on. Well, he did come on stage, but yeah, you can take that as you will.
He came across the crowd.
Did he? Well, who were covered in rabbit blood?
That's it. Just to make it extra sordid.
Sounds like some sort of black mass. It's lovely.
It was a satanic ritual.
Was it? Now it's all adding up now. It all makes sense.
How do you think stadium openings go,
Yeah, I mean, as if you could do it without a bit of satanic worship.
I'd like to see it.
Now, one of the clicks in this page of area of outstanding natural beauty is UK national parks, but I don't know about that one.
I mean, I've told you it's in Europe. I've told you that it's called the Needles. It's probably likely to be somewhere in an English-speaking place, but I'm not going to tell you whether that's the UK or not.
Yes, well, I mean, the fact it was Needles made me think that it was English-speaking, hence why I've ended up in this vicinity.
You're a clever duck.
my IQ's through the roof. That's why this podcast is so good.
That's why you're the host.
Yeah, oh, that's it. Yeah, I'm waiting for the job offers to start rolling in from BBC Radio 1
or One Extra. Blah.
Is there a One Extra?
There is a One Extra, I believe.
Is that the shitter? Well, I mean, it would be hard to be shitter than Radio 1, wouldn't it, really? But I guess it's probably even worse.
I mean, it's just to let you know, it's a digital, urban, contemporary and black music radio station.
What, is Radio 1 normally just exclusively for white music? That seems weird.
No, I guess Radio 1's probably seen as quite poncy.
But Radio 1 Extra isn't.
I don't know.
Have you listened to Radio 1 Extra? You're giving it a good plug here.
I haven't. I've heard of it. A bit like Threads.
A bit like Threads. Okay, another one of those things. We hear about them, but we don't investigate them. We just sort of waste our time doing this sort of shit.
Just use them as WikiLinks.
Now, there's a link here for countryside, but I think that's going too broad. There's Natural England, Natural Resources Wales, the Northern Ireland Environment Agency.
It's tricky. There's several paths that you could take here, and I must admit it's difficult to know which one.
Now, it does. Would you know which one? I suppose you probably would, as you know what they are and where they are.
Exactly. I did check. If you knew what they were, you could have done this in 3.
Wow. Okay. And what am I on? I'm on 3 now. So
You're
it's not
on 3. So.
Yeah, and I'm not there, so I haven't done that. Now, I haven't done a quick Control F on this page just for needles. Oh, look at that! And there's no, that doesn't say that. I thought I spotted it. I didn't. Now, I think to broaden me here, I think the best thing I can go for is maybe National Scenic Area.
I mean, would it help me to give you a clue at this stage, or?
Well, it depends. I'm on 3 clicks. It depends how badly you might want to try and win this episode.
Well, I thought it would be nice if I could win it, but at the same time, I want to keep it at least vaguely entertaining for the listener, for the single listener. I'm sure at least one of them's tuned out now. So
yeah, it's not been the most thrilling.
Considering this was sold as the big finale episode.
Yeah, the grand finale.
And we're stuck on the area of outstanding natural beauty.
Which is lovely to look at, but to just talk about, it doesn't really augur well just for a conversation. I'd recommend going there rather than chatting about it.
I would definitely go there. I would switch off this podcast right now and go there to any of these areas, because it will be a better use of your time than listening to this.
Would you walk in an area of outstanding natural beauty whilst listening to the WikiLinks podcast on your iPhone?
I can't help but feel that would, destroy the vibe.
Enjoyment.
Or any kind of enjoyment of being there. But if you choose to do so, I do salute you, because it's certainly a strange choice. Yeah,
massive respect. Absolute massive respect if you do that.
Brownie points.
There is Gower Peninsula, but again, a peninsula. I mean, the Needles could be on a peninsula, but I don't think the Needles themselves are a peninsula.
And I can tell you it's in one of these areas. Yeah, I can tell you that.
How thrilling.
I know.
Now, I think from what you've said, it's not in England. I think it's in either Scotland or Northern Ireland.
Could be, mate.
I don't know why I think that, just from what you've been saying.
Maybe I've been saying the wrong thing.
Maybe, yeah. Just to give me more clicks. Right.
No, I haven't been giving you any false information. Everything I've said is totally accurate.
I might have misread
if I've
your
alluded
tone.
you to think, yes, exactly. If you're thinking it's not in England, you may be wrong.
Right. Then it may be in England.
It may be, but it may not be as well.
It may not be. This is thrilling.
Because the particular place that I'm thinking of may be in England or it may not. It's one of those places.
One of what places?
One of the places that could be considered to be in England or not.
I see. Is it some sort of ethereal place?
No, it's a physical place.
It is a physical place.
It's not a concept or
not some kind of like dreamscape.
No.
That would have been quite surreal if you'd sent me to something like that.
I kind of wish I had now. It would have made for a better show.
It probably would have at this point. Right, I'm wondering if I should
I'm feeling like just click something.
just click something. Okay, I'll do that then. I'm either going to do countryside, national scenic area, which links me to Scotland, or UK national parks. So of those three, I'm going to do UK national parks. I'm on number 4.
Good.
Thank God I'm off that page, but I'm not on a particularly much more exciting one now. I'm on national parks of the United Kingdom.
That's thrilling stuff. It really is this, isn't it?
Now, another one in here. I'm just going to jump straight to it. It's going to be number 5. I've done it. It's 5 clicks, and I'm on landscape.
Here we go. Okay.
Now, one of them in here is landforms, also mountains, hills, water bodies. I think landforms could be good here. Have you followed me?
I followed you. I'm probably the only one.
I was about to say, nobody else fucking will after this. I mean, just to go back this exciting path, I've gone from Threads to Northern England to the Pennines, area of outstanding natural beauty, national parks of the United Kingdom. Now I'm on landscape.
Yes.
Now, do you have anything interesting to say about landscape?
Um,
I'm going to click on. I'm going to go from right. Just hold on to your seats, everyone. I'm going to go from landscape to landforms.
Oh, here we go. This is the juicy page now coming, I'm sure.
Now, this is number 6, and in here is a click for terrain, topography. Could be useful. And again, hills, mountains, plateaus, canyons, valleys, shorelines, bays, peninsulas.
Well, there you go. I mean, and it is a form of land. It's a landform.
Which is exactly what I'm on.
Yeah, so you're getting close-ish.
It doesn't have anything on here for needles, but topography could be good if it links to famous topography.
Yeah.
Or I could click mountain, because it might have a list of famous mountains, and if the needles are a mountain or a set of mountains, then I could be in there.
You could. But
what am I going to go? I don't think it's a peninsula. I don't think it's a shoreline. It could be a set of hills. Am I going to now? This could be the most thrilling wiki page we've ever been on if I click this one and end up on hills. You know what? Just for the enjoyment of the podcast, I'm going to do it. That's click number 7. It's getting to quite a lot of clicks, and I'm on just the singular wiki page for hill.
Who would have known we could have scaled these heights?
Oh, that's a great one. That's well done, Dean. Now, there's a list for notable artificial hills. That's no good. There's also see also, which says a hillock. I could see a hillock, or I could click to Jack and Jill the nursery rhyme.
What did you call me?
I called you a hillock.
A hillock.
A hilk.
That's not very nice. I didn't come on here to be insulted.
I think we'll get enough of that once this goes live. Just look at the Twitter feed.
I can't wait, mate. It will be exactly like our YouTube video comments.
Yeah, just full of stuff about you two are so stupid and ugly. Well, no, they won't know we're ugly because it's just on a podcast, so we're safe.
So there'll be some differences. But
there is now a video on our Insta of you dancing, so people can see you.
They can identify me for the witch hunt.
Yeah, they can
After
grab
the witch's milk. Incident.
Yes. Now we won't broach that until we've seen who wins the season.
Actually, I'm giving myself a fighting chance here, depending on what your wiki link is. I do feel like you're going to struggle with this one to this week. But if you scroll right down to the bottom, here's a little bit of respite for you. See also at the bottom here, just above the references, there's a breast-shaped hill.
Hill shaped like a human breast.
Yes.
Now I'm hovering over it, and it does look remarkably like a tit. I mean, you can't deny that, can you?
You can't. No, it's even got a wee little nipple on the top,
hasn't it? Yeah, just a little wee one, positioned in the perfect spot. It's very, very realistic. I wonder where that is. If I didn't want to waste a click, I would find out. But you can all Google it yourself. The wiki page for breast-shaped hill.
It's it's a nice hill.
I need to get off this page because there's really not much on here. On this page, I'm on for hill. Okay, there is a link for a 1995 film called The Englishman Who Went Up a Hill But Came Down a Mountain, which is quite a mouthful for a title of a movie. Written by David Monger.
And Ivor Monger.
And written and directed by Christopher Monger.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, true story. That all of you can follow that up. That's quite jokes. Now I'm on 7 clicks. I think at this point I might have to find out what the needles are, so I can at least try and get. I think shooting in the dark at this point now is could be impossible.
It's just bad entertainment, really,
isn't it? Exactly. So I'm going to use Wikipedia to find out what the needles are. A 3-stack of chalk that rise about 30 metres out of the sea off the western extremity of the Isle of Wight in the English Channel in the UK. Right. Okay.
Yes.
So
now you've probably noticed if you've seen them. If you look at the picture, have you seen those? With the
yes. I know those things. I did not know they were called the needles. So even though I recognised them, I couldn't have told you what they were called.
No.
So, but yes, I do recognise them, and now that means I'm on 7 clicks, and I have to get from hill to, well, I still have to get to the needles, but at least I know what the fuck I'm doing now. So this should help. Hopefully, I can do this in maybe 2. I mean, I could do a back, but a back click is worth 5, and I might as well just hand the game to you if I'm doing that.
That's it.
I'm sure I can get back to that area without in fewer than 5.
I'm sure you can.
There is just a link for England, so that could be.
There you go.
I might just do that. Let's do that. That's number 8. And straight away in the first paragraph, let's speed this up because it's so exciting. I can go straight to Isle of Wight. That's number 9.
There we go.
Now, it was near the Isle of Wight, so let's just see if it has needles on here.
A little cheeky Control F, is it?
Now, one of them is the Needles Batteries, but I don't think that's it, is it?
No, that's violence.
And there we go. Enough Control Fs. You click through. You go through enough needle batteries, and you find the needles. There we go. Christ almighty. Number 10. And I'm on the needles. I got from threads to the needles in 10 clicks. But after learning what it actually was, I did it in 3.
There you go. See? You could have done it in 3 if you'd known what it was. So, more fool you.
Yes, see, this is why knowledge is always useful.
Knowledge is power. And with great power comes...
I love how you ended that. With great power comes...
And then just leave loads of silence and then just straight back into it.
So on that bombshell with great power comes, I've done that in 10. That's a very high number. Dean will almost certainly beat that with what I give him. But who knows? Before we go to the break, Dean's got a chance here to bring it to 3-2, and I'm not full of confidence with my fake news fart, but I guess we'll just go and do it. Are you ready, Dean?
I'm ready.
Right. So if Dean guesses this on the first guess, he will get a point, and he'll make it 3-2 if he guesses straight away what the real news headline is. So number 1. Please help me remove Tony Blair's autobiography from my bum.
Dear. Okay. I so hope that's it. I almost want to guess that straight away.
Before I move on to number 2, you're an ardent Labour supporter, or were, or are, whatever. Let's not get too politically hot. But
No.
Are you a big fan of Tony Blair?
I'm not. He's not actually a Labour member, as I would call Labour. He's New Labour, which was a social experiment in bringing conservatism into the Labour Party.
It's certainly true. That's certainly true. I have a lot of family members who were Conservatives and are now Conservatives again, but at that period voted New Labour, so that really kind of explains it. So in fairness, you probably would wipe your ass with Tony Blair's autobiography then.
I would, so it seems totally plausible to me.
Number 2. Oh, Jesus. I lost an Alan Titchmarsh trowel handle up my anus. What I like about that is the "Oh Jesus" to start it.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus!
Class.
I lost an Alan Titchmarsh trowel handle in my anus. I guess someone could have been shoving it up there and the handle broke off and then it disappeared.
It's definitely an option if you're bored tonight.
Yeah, get an Alan Titchmarsh branded trowel and just try jimmying it up your backside. And number 3 is help. I've got a Jamie Oliver garlic press stuck up my arse.
I'm going to whack my old man right across his alley.
So which do you think of those 3? If you guess it on the first one, you've got a point, Dean.
So can we have one last quick recap?
Yeah. Please help me remove Tony Blair's autobiography from my bum. Oh, Jesus. I lost an Alan Titchmarsh trowel handle in my anus. Help. I've got a Jamie Oliver garlic press stuck up my arse.
Mate. I mean, you should always go with your gut, and my gut is telling me that Jamie Oliver creates inventions which are used anally.
And I mean, it's funny you say you got to go with your gut because the garlic press did end up in someone's guts.
It did.
It did, and you're actually right, mate. You've got it on the first one. You're right.
I finally got it. Is that the first point I've got in fake news far as of yet?
It is actually, yeah. It's the first time. It's the first time you've got it. I think the other 2 ended in draws, and I think I got a point. But this time you've got one, which makes the series. What is it? 3-2. You're pulling it back.
Oh, mate, it's all to play for then in this final WikiLink.
It is. It'll make the second half thrilling. It will make up for me clicking around hills and mountains, really, won't it?
We can only hope.
So that's 3-2. If Dean does his WikiLink after the break in fewer than 10, it's going to be 3-3, and we'll be in a tie-break situation, which will be really thrilling on the forfeit episode.
It will.
Just before we go to the break, I will ask you one quick question, just off the bat. It's not exciting enough to make a feature out of, but I think it's good enough just to ask you a couple of questions and see how close you can get. Just before we jump to the break, you'll love this. So I've got a list here of the most searched Pornhub terms based on American states.
Okay.
So I'll just ask you a couple, and I tell you, if you get any straight away, I'll give you a point, because that really is a 1 in a million, isn't it?
Well, 1 in 50, 51, 50? How many states are there?
No, I'm going to name a state, and then you're going to have to say what the most searched Pornhub term is.
Ah, right. Okay.
From that state. So that will be damn near impossible.
It really is a needle in a haystack, that one.
I mean, if you do this, I'll be staggered. But anyway, let me just pick a US state. What do you think the most searched Pornhub term in Texas is?
Donkey punch.
Oh, you're on good here. Is that because you knew that there might be quite a few donkeys in Texas bordering Mexico?
It could be. That could have been my thinking. It was the first thing that came to mind.
Well, no, but there is a link to it bordering Mexico, because apparently the most searched Pornhub term in Texas is sex mex.
Sex mex. I love it. Like a taco, burrito.
Exactly, yeah. Just even more racist.
Sex mex. Wow. I'm tempted to Google it. I really am.
Yeah, I haven't done that. I did mean to do some of these because a bit odd. What do you think the most searched term in Louisiana is?
Chili penis.
It does involve a part of the body, but it's not penis. It's Popeyes.
Popeyes.
Now, do you know what that is? I don't.
I have no idea. No,
I don't know what that links to sexually, but I mean, I wonder if these are true. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe you can all jump on Pornhub and check. I'll give you a couple more. South Dakota. This is a weird one. It's not even remotely sexual.
Sitting bull.
Wrestling.
Wrestling. Okay. So it's not an obscure position like the sitting bull.
It's not. Let me see if there are any that are like that. The closest is Michigan, who their top search is face sitting.
Oh well, they're in good company there.
No, I'm wondering about some of these, because apparently North Dakota's most searched term on Pornhub is pumpkin.
I think you might have been had with this list.
Yeah, and I mean some of them are genuine, like or could be genuine. Idaho is apparently orgy, and Oklahoma is cheerleader.
Okay, so they sound relatively normal.
But Florida is apparently Trump.
Yeah, I think
I think I've been had.
I think you should have read at least more than one or two before you brought them on the show. I'm disappointed, I must say.
Yeah, I think. Well, that was a shit feature, wasn't it? Should we just go to the break with our tails between our legs,
as we always do?
Okay. Bye, everyone. We'll be back in a minute.
Ciao.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to part 2 of the WikiLinks podcast. The score is 3-2. Listen, let's just feel that jeopardy. Dean can really pull it back here.
I can't wait. I'm going to thrash you.
Oh, please do. Right. Speaking of thrashing, one of these links is kind of like that. So,
okay,
good link. You have to go from Rocky Mountain oysters. I'll let you bring that up to dance.
To dance,
which is why I said a bit like thrashing, because I know you do love a dance, don't you? And dancing and thrashing isn't a million miles apart, is it?
Certainly not. No. Certainly, when you see me dancing, it does look. You can't really distinguish it from any other kind of seizure or those kind of motions. But
now I'm surprised you're saying that. I thought you were. I thought you considered yourself a top dancer.
No, that was just what I used to tell the girls. But you knew better than that. Come on.
Oh well, I've seen you dance. I've seen you dance a lot. I thought you were a top dancer there, Dean. I mean,
Michael Jackson, someone like that, but not me, mate.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. No, you don't quite have Jackson-esque moves, do you? No, I wouldn't say that. But I mean, you're certainly more of a dancer than me. I mean, as I dance about as much as maybe lifting the beer from the table to my mouth. That's about as active as I get. Well,
I'm drinking a beer right now, so I'm doing a bit of George dancing as we speak.
So that's your link anyway. Rocky Mountain oysters to dance.
It's a great one.
Now, do you want to tell people what Rocky Mountain oysters are? Because they're not what people would assume. They're not oysters.
No, I mean, I wouldn't have known what they were. But apparently they're meatballs, also known as prairie oysters in Canada. Now, they're a dish made of bull testicles.
Yep.
So the organs are often deep fried after being skinned, coated in flour, pepper and salt, and sometimes pounded flat. They're also known as cowboy caviar.
Cowboy caviar.
Montana tenderloins.
This sounds like nuts. Something from. This sounds like Brokeback Mountain or something.
It does. I mean, I'm surprised some of these didn't come up in the search terms that you were just talking about in the previous.
That's true.
segment.
Yeah, Rocky Mountain oysters. Yeah.
No, this is excellent. I don't know how you came up with this. I have to find out in a moment. But Ohio also holds testicle festivals.
No, surely not. Really?
There is actually a page for testicle festivals.
Now, do people just get on stage and drop their pants? Or are these animal testicles? Dead testicles from animals?
It does appear to be an event in small towns mostly, where the featured activity is the consumption of animal testicles, usually battered and fried.
Oh, so it's like an eating contest or something like that?
It does appear to be something like that.
Oh, how many fucking testicles can you choke down in half an hour? Lovely.
It really is lovely. I mean, the only thing that I can hope for, I suppose, at this stage is that perhaps some people like to dance at a festival because there's some music. That's
a very good link. And before you click off this, as you read that, when you said often deep fried after being skinned, coated in flour, pepper, and salt, do you or your missus like potato wedges?
I love potato wedges.
Do you want a short, quick recipe you can do to impress her with some nice potato wedges later this evening?
I'd love that.
Okay, here you go, everybody on the show. You can we're branching into recipes now, so I can put that as a tagline. As it's a food-based podcast. I'll tell you as you have a look around for what link you want to use. I call them level 3 wedges because they go in 3 stages, but it really is worth doing each stage because they come out really good. So you get a potato, you cut it into wedge shapes. I'm not going to go into how you do that. You can work that out. Leave the skin on or peel it off. It doesn't really matter. I've been peeling the skins recently, but they're also nice on. So you cut them into wedges. You pop them in some boiling water and parboil them for about, I would say, 7 minutes. So they come out just soft. You get a tray of oil in the oven. Put a tray of oil in a hot oven, not too deep, about 1 centimetre, and let that oil heat up for about 6 minutes. Put the tray in a hot oven and then take the tray of oil out. And so you've got a little tray of hot oil. Then you put your potatoes into that, stir them round so they all sizzle. Put them back in the oven for about 15, 20 minutes. Then they come out sort of bit brown, crispy, quite nice. Then you put them in a box with a lid on, full of flour and any spice you want. So I tend to use garlic powder, chili, chives, mustard powder. So a load of flour, all those spices in a pot, tip the now level 2 wedges into there, put on a lid, give them a good shake about, and they'll be nicely coated at that point in flour and half roasted, half boiled. And then you give them about 2-3 minutes in a deep fryer, and they come out absolutely fantastic.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's my level 3 wedges.
Oh, mate, you're making me hungry now.
So you can impress your missus with them later with your with level 3 wedges.
No, definitely. I'll probably have to listen back to the recording when this is released to get the recipe, because my short-term memory is rather screwed right now. I didn't know we'd actually learned something. I believe we deserve a noise for that one.
Oh, let's do it. Did you? And while I was going through that very detailed recipe, did you find what you might click on?
I was trying to sort of see if there was anything that wasn't a disgusting piece of meat.
Like Donald Trump.
Exactly that.
But did you not find something that wasn't a disgusting piece of meat?
No, the only thing I found were a number of countries, Canada, Spain, Argentina, and Mexico. So all I'm thinking is, which one of those countries is most famous for dancing? Now, I do believe, Mexico, they are known for their dancing. There's a lot of street dancing, a lot of street music and performers. So,
and would they not have? Surely they would have a carnival there, wouldn't they? As like they do in Brazil and the Caribbean. I would have thought that would spread to Mexico, wouldn't it? They would have a carnival, wouldn't they?
Exactly that. And I was hoping to find Brazil, but it's not here, so I can't go to Rio because that would be a definite shortcut. That's for sure.
It's a good thought process.
It is, but I'm going to go on Mexico. Let's do it.
Okay, number 1.
So here I am, Mexico, which is an interesting country with a lot of history. I always find it quite amazing to think of the indigenous cultures that live there and that original meeting with the conquistadors.
Conquistadors, yes.
Yeah, that's it. And the fact that current day Mexico City was built on an island, on a lake, and they drained the lake and built the city in the lake, if I'm not mistaken. I
didn't know that. I didn't know that part. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Now that certainly is that correct? Should I play that fact, or are you not sure? Should I play the fact?
Unless
noise?
I was hallucinating, I do believe I read that somewhere.
Okay, fuck it. Let's play the noise. We've learned that Mexico City was original island, and they drained the water around it. Very, very interesting.
I feel like I want to actually click on Mexico City now just to find out more about the history, and I've wet my own whistle there, George.
Is that what you're going to do? Is that going to be your number 2?
Well, I feel like I should explore the page a bit more. We're trying to keep it positive for this final episode.
There's Global Peace Index. That's lovely.
Yes.
Crime is not, though. There's a link for crime. I wouldn't go there.
No, that's it's probably a little bit bleak.
But there is culture. Have you seen that?
I have seen culture, Mexican cuisine or music.
Very interesting. Now, music is something linked to dancing, because it's not often people dance without music. Although I have seen you do that, funnily enough.
I have, but there was music going on in my brain at the time.
Yeah, which counts. I mean, yeah, that counts. You could say that for anything, couldn't you? Really?
You could. Well, you could say literally anything you want. I mean, we do on this show.
Well, that's what I mean. You could just take a gun and start firing wildly into the sky and just say, "Well, in my brain there were a load of vampire bats coming to get me."
I'm sure that's worked for some celebrities before, hasn't it?
Yes, surely you must have got off in some court cases with that, right?
Definitely. The old vampire bat excuse.
Didn't O.J. Simpson use something like that?
But without threatening a lawsuit, maybe we should leave it there.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yes. Bit of a bat out of hell.
Isn't he? What a cock. There's links here for pop and rock.
There are, but not cock.
Now, I shouldn't really be helping you, but I'm seeing some useful... No, there isn't one for cock.
I have got something here, I must admit, and it's... part of me is wanting to go for Mambo, because it's Mambo number 5.
That's just the one that I'd seen too.
Yeah, but I'm actually going to go for the cha-cha-cha, because I do believe that is actually a dance move. I do believe I should go for that. And I mean, down here it's saying that there's a jazz, techno, and house music. Now, I've listened to a fair bit of that in my time, so I mean, that possibly house music would be an even better one to go on to.
Because you were a bit of a DJ at some point, weren't you?
I was. Back in a past life.
Dean was a DJ. I was more of a guitarist. Again, in a past life. He's right about that. I haven't played guitar in about 10 years now, but I did used to play a fair bit at one point, and I believe you did a fair bit of mixing, didn't you, at one point?
I did. I mean, I still I do some mixing on my computer. I make my own mixes, but I don't use vinyl, which is the purists' way of DJing. So I'm not sure whether I can call myself a DJ as such.
A real DJ. You're also a stand-up comedian. We haven't talked about that on the podcast. How have we missed that?
Because it's just not funny.
It just wasn't funny, right? Okay, just... Do you still do stand-up comedy or no?
No, I did one gig and then I retired.
Oh, is that true? You only did one?
I did one proper gig, and I did a few open mics and things.
Oh, that's what I thought. I did think you were sort of gigging around for a bit. I wasn't sure if you ever got actually booked or anything, but...
I did get booked for one gig, and it was so terrible that I decided I would put it to bed for a little while and
Is this genuinely true? You got booked to do stand-up comedy at some sort of gig, and you totally bombed, did you?
I wouldn't say I bombed, but I used British jokes to an Australian audience.
Okay, how big was this crowd? Sorry, this is such an interesting story.
Maybe 50 people. I don't know.
Wow. And what was it? A wedding or something?
No, it was a comedy night in a pub.
Okay, and how was the reaction to your jokes? I'm guessing the fact that you said you've never done it again, it didn't fill you with confidence at the end of the night.
No, I mean, I loved it. It was good fun. But yeah, I just realised that my material was completely irrelevant to most people in this country. So perhaps if I come back to the UK, I can use all that material that I wrote.
Just a load of Aussie people sitting there not knowing what the fuck you're talking about.
I got a lot of laughs, but I felt like they were laughing at me rather than with me, because they just thought I was quite pathetic.
I mean, what sort of style did you go? Are you one of those sort of abusive comedians? Are you quite friendly? Are you one of those intentionally shit comedians?
All of those, in fact.
All of them, okay, right.
I took on a number of characters. I was Stanley, the Scouse scaffolder.
Okay, this reminds me of early Steve Coogan. He had a lot of characters. So character comedy, that's quite hard, mate. I must say...
It was quite difficult, yeah.
Credit to you for doing that. I don't think I could pull off doing character comedy on stage. Like, well done.
Yeah, and the other one was James Bend, the Apprentice comic. So he was typically very bad. He would have lots of scraps of paper that he'd be, I've just got to remember my line and that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, I think I saw one clip of this. That's the only clip I've ever seen of you doing your stand-up, was where you said you'd forgot your notes and stuff, and I asked you if it was intentional, and you never really told me, but I assumed it was.
It was intentional, but that was came part across of it. As not intentional, to be honest.
Okay, so looked a bit too genuine.
It did. And the other one was MCSG, which is the MC skinny guy.
Okay, as it because you're quite skinny, right?
I was quite skinny at the time. See, again, I can't use that character anymore. I'll have to rename him medium-sized guy, I guess. Doesn't have
So now
quite the same ring.
you're taking all of your comedic talents over to this WikiLinks podcast now, are you?
I am.
Okay, that's temporarily shelved. That was a very interesting story, though. Your the history of Dean's stand-up comedy acts.
We're learning a lot here. We're not learning what we expected to learn, but we're learning. If we're going to go down the route of my life, I'm going to click on house music.
So you're on cha-cha-cha, and you're going to go from cha-cha-cha to house music.
I didn't actually click cha-cha-cha. That was...
Oh, you never went to cha-cha-cha. Okay,
You're
right.
jumping ahead now. No, I went to, and then I noticed that there was jazz, techno, and house music on there as well.
Okay, right. So you're gonna do that one, and that will be your third click.
That's it. So now I'm on the page for house music. Now, as a massive fan, you would have thought I would have been on this page before, but I haven't actually encountered it as of yet.
Now, it certainly polarizes opinion, doesn't it? House music. The people who love it really love it, and the people who don't find it almost completely unlistenable, don't they?
Yes, that's it.
I've heard many people say it just sounds like a CD stuck, and obviously I've been around lots of DJs and people who love house music, like you and your family and friends, and hear how they talk about how it's just it's the Jesus Christ of all music.
It is. If you believe it to be so, if you've welcomed it into your heart.
Now, I must say, I think I forced myself to try and like it when I was in my early 20s, hanging out with you and the gang, but it never really, I think I only liked it because we might have been taking a few too many substances, and I think house music certainly lends itself to that sort of mindset, doesn't it?
It does. It goes hand in hand. So yeah, I guess that's perhaps the reason you liked it at that stage. And as soon as you came down off the high, you decided it wasn't for you.
And it was also I just wanted to fit in.
Oh,
Which is what I'm doing on this podcast now. Everyone can feel sorry for me after that story, and make sure you click back for series 2.
Yay!
I must say that was a joke. There are no plans for series 2 so far, so
don't worry about
so
that.
so nobody panic. It's okay.
So on the page for house music, there's a lot of really cool artists and things. I mean, there may well be a clickable link for dance on here, but when I do a Control F, there's 82 incidences of the word dance.
See, now maybe I've given you too much.
Yes, so maybe I've screwed myself over. So I've changed tack and I've actually searched for rave, and that there is something here about the illegal 80s house scene, which my dad was a part of, and the raves that he went to and helped create back in the day.
And rave is a click there too. Is that what you think it's going to be?
So I'm thinking clicking on rave could be a good one, because I would imagine there'll be something about dancing at a rave, you would hope.
You would imagine so. Could you imagine a rave without dancing?
I'm struggling to, but
would it be a rave, or does the act of dancing make it a rave?
That's a chicken and an egg there that you've come up with. That's
an interesting philosophical discussion.
It is. If there was a rave but no one was there to hear it, would it be a rave at all?
Yeah. Or if there was a rave and everyone was sitting down, is it a rave?
No.
No. Okay, well, we've answered it, so that's done.
So here we are. We're on the page for a rave.
That's your number 4.
We're having it large.
I see straight away there's a link in there for a dance party.
But will it actually contain the act of dancing?
Well, if not, it has fire dancers.
I know.
Now, seeing as you've done stand-up comedy, DJing, and all sorts of other stuff, have you ever been a fire dancer?
I haven't. No.
Okay, well, that's what you need to do next for. That's what you need to do next.
That's what I need to do next, because this certainly isn't going to make me any money.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't want to mortgage your house on this podcast.
Now, I went down to dancing because I thought, well, surely dancing will be a pretty good way of getting to dance.
Right.
But it's not there.
It has dance studio, street dance, and a whole click that says, it links you to dance improvisation.
Yes.
Now, that's your style of dancing, isn't it? Dance improvisation.
It is. It's pure improv. I'm just in the moment, chucking shapes,
Chucking shapes.
flogging and flailing my arms.
Now, again, I mean, people must just jump onto our socials and check out the video of Dean. There is a video of Dean dancing on the beach. It's on our Instagram.
It is.
Now, what have you seen? Anything else you might go to here? There's a lot of information on it, lots of colourful pictures, lots of stuff about illicit drugs.
It's a great wiki page.
It really is. If you're wanting to get mashed, just read this.
It's one of those where you're so close, but you're wondering where the clickable link is going to come from.
Exactly. It's going to be one of those things where you're just going to have to sort of try and guess and go to a few different ones until you get the link for dancing, I suppose.
Now, in Australia, we call raves a bush doof.
A bush doof.
A bush doof.
Spell that second part?
DOOF.
Bush doof. Okay.
Yeah, and the etymology of the bush doof is the fact that the music just sounds like doof, doof, doof.
No, well, it's very accurate.
Exactly. It's clever. They're clever folks, these Aussies.
Is it called bush because it's in the bush? Yeah, okay.
It's in the bush, exactly. We're not specifically talking about someone's pubis here. It's actually the bush.
Although if you were trying to get rid of crabs, you might doof someone's bush.
You might. It could be an effective removal method there. Definitely.
Yeah, I've not tried it, but then maybe that could be the forfeit. We have to call a pest controller and ask them to come and doof our bush.
Can you doof my bush?
Yeah, just like that.
Excuse me, sir. Can you doof my bush?
My bush.
I think we should put it to a vote whether we ask for the witch's milk or ask someone to doof our bush.
Doof our bush. Yeah, okay. If anyone's listening or gives two shits, jump on the socials and let us know which you'd prefer one of us to do, or whoever has to do it. Make a phone call and request some witch's milk while we explain what it is, or call a pest controller and eventually ask them to boosh our doof.
Bush our doof. Now, perhaps I was thinking is that if we do manage to draw this, which is quite likely that we're going to draw the series, unless I somehow can't get to dance from rave
in 6 clicks, yeah,
in 6 clicks or less, then I do believe maybe we should both have to do a forfeit.
I did think that. Yeah, I thought maybe if the series ends on a tie, which it's heading towards, maybe we have to subject each other to one.
So perhaps I can challenge you to the witch's milk, and you can challenge me to the bush doof.
To the bush doof, yeah. I'd probably rather do the bush doof rather than ask for infant milk to be delivered to me.
Okay,
but we'll have to see which way it goes.
We'll have to see which way the listener decides.
Yeah, that's it. Who's going to be subjected to which?
Exactly. So I'll tell you what, I'm loving this page, and I could spend all day on the history, the origin of rave, the birth of acid house, rave music. It's it's right up my alley. This is, but
unlike when I was on Hill.
Like when you were on Hill, yes, I do apologise. I'm afraid the ruthless side of me of being desperate to win. I wanted to challenge you to a deceptively difficult needles to one. The threads to the needles.
Threads to needles. It was very clever. I'll give you that.
Yes, but it wasn't very enjoyable.
It wasn't very enjoyable for anybody.
No. So before I move on, I think I'm probably going to click on Dance Studio. But I've scrolled down a bit further here and just looking at some of the accessories that are used at raves. You've got things like feather boas and oversized sunglasses.
Oh, so much fun. They're just like, you can't not have fun, can you, in giant shades and a feather boa?
Exactly. Now, how did you not enjoy yourself?
When
we donned feather boas and oversized sunglasses.
Which is actually, that's actually a true story, because we did do that. I worked for a photo booth company, setting up photo booths at weddings, and there was a box of props in the photo booth, and there were feather boas and oversized sunglasses. So this is actually a true story.
It is, but you always look so glim.
I certainly did look like an absolutely miserable fuck, quite downbeat and sour. A couple times they did write to my boss saying, "Oh, the photo booth operator was very lovely and friendly when we spoke to him, but he looked miserable as fuck standing in the the corner."
He looked like he'd been to a funeral. Was one?
Yes, I believe that was one of them. Yes, he looked like he'd just come back from a funeral, which certainly sums me up. But a couple times you came with me to these gigs, didn't you? And you would be sort of dancing around, interacting with everyone, getting right in the mix, which is ironic because during this podcast, people have said I've sounded particularly lively and upbeat, and you've sounded unusually quiet. So it's just strange how these things go, isn't it?
It's a different persona can come out in these kind of things. So I'm glad that we've evolved as people.
We have, yeah. I've become bouncy, and you've become the miserable fuck.
It's quite enjoyable. I can see why you've been playing this card all these years,
isn't it? It's quite relaxing.
It is. All that effort of making people like you and enjoying yourself. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, just sit there. Just sit there.
So I'm gonna move on to Dance Studio.
Is that what you're clicking on?
It seems wise because surely a dance studio, as it purports to here, is a space in which dancers learn or rehearse.
So is that number 5? You're on Dance Studio.
Yes, and it mentions here other common features of a dance studio include a bar. Now, I don't know if you know what a bar is, George, but
as in a bar of music.
No, this is something else. This is a bar as in bar and bike. Have you heard of bar and bike?
I've not heard of bar and bike. I can turn up to a bar on a motorbike, but I don't think that's it either, is it?
No, it's slightly different. It's essentially like a gym or a ballet hall type gym, where part of it is a load of exercise bikes are there, and then the other part there's like a ballet room with a bar, which is I think a long piece of wood that ballet dancers tend to.
I know those things.
Yes, they contort themselves whilst holding on. Now, my partner actually got us to sign up for a couple of sessions of bar and bike.
Right.
So I think you can imagine how that went down. It's
how did it go?
Well, it just involved me and a lot of other girls in the room. And yeah, I can't stretch for fucking shit. Like I am honestly a plank. So it's just me like stiffly moving and trying not to stare up some girl's skirt or whatever. It was quite.
This sounds fantastic.
It was.
Were you literally the only bloke there?
I was, yeah.
Fantastic.
I don't know if you know the Call on Me video, Eric Pride's Call on Me, which is just a load of women like bending over and doing stuff. It was kind of like imagine putting Mr. Bean in the middle of that video.
Okay, fantastic. That is a brilliant mental image. I like this. Speaking of you getting sucked into things, didn't your partner also insist you try surfing? And you nearly broke your back and had to be rescued by David Hasselhoff.
Yes, it was the Hoff that rescued me. Unfortunately, Pamela was caught up. So yeah,
yeah, two muscle merchants dragging you to the shore, screaming.
Yeah, and going, dude, that's a rip, dude. You don't go in there, dude. In a more Aussie fashion, but it made it more amusing thinking it was sort of some jock American.
Maybe your partner just likes she just likes to torment you.
She does like torture.
Which actually came up last week, but we'll move on from that.
Moving swiftly on. So, dance studio. Now, in China, the term dance studio is also used to describe a place which is established to teach dance. Ah,
there you go. Should we play the noise for that, or no? Maybe not.
I don't believe
not.
So. It's not interesting, and it's
no, it's really not. No,
but it has got a clickable link for the word dance.
Have you found it?
I found it. I'm on. Just to confirm, you wanted me to get to the page for dance.
Yes, for dance. Which, funnily enough, hasn't actually linked from the word dance. It's linked from the word dancers.
It does. I know that's strange.
So, have you done it? Is that your next click?
I've done it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, you've done it in 5.
I've wiped the floor with you.
Yep, I did mine in 10. I mean, once I learnt what it is, I think I did well. I did it in 3 once I learnt what the needles were, but otherwise it took me 10. Now we won't go through the through everything on the dance page because Dean's beat me there, which takes the series thrillingly and genuinely to 3-3. It'll be a case of a double forfeit or something like that on the forfeit episode.
I believe that's the only, the only logical conclusion and the only way to pad out another episode of this complete bollocks.
We'll be recording live forfeits for the next episode. It won't be next week because we'll have some interaction on the social. We'll see what all the listeners want. And of course, it will take us a while to set up because we're just so busy, aren't we?
So lazy.
Yes, that's the one. So the series is 3-3. Well done, Dean. You did brilliantly.
The comeback king.
Yeah, you pulled it back just like a medical foreskin. But don't
It's a good
fret.
way to finish the show.
Because before we go, we have our shout outs to do. Do you have a shout out?
I have a shout out.
I'll go first because last week yours was quite prophetic and deep. So I'll let you end with your prophetic one because no doubt you've got something rather moving. Now I also have something moving, but in a different sense. I'm going to give a shout out to a little website. Well, it is a website and it's also a game called GeoGuessr. If no one's heard of this, it's a game where you land anywhere on the planet of Google Street View. You can move around, you can look at signs, and then you have to click where on the planet you think you are, and you get points based on that. I think it's worth a shout out because, well, not only does it help you learn geography if you're not very good with that, and I'm certainly going to have my daughter play it when she's a bit older, but it also just gives you a sense that, the world's not really that different. Everyone is essentially the same. The world is one place, just because you change your borders or you move across the sea, it doesn't really mean anything's changed at all. It's a completely stupid opinion that just because you change from one country to the next, something is completely different. It's all one place. And as you find when you play this game, you might see somewhere and you think, that's definitely Southern England. And you might find it's actually South Africa. So I think it's a nice thing to play. It's educational and it also just gives you a nice view of the world. It's also just really interesting. You might end up in a mall in Japan. You might end up in the forests. You might end up. I always get thrown off when somewhere is in South Africa, like I said, because that's obviously somewhere I don't really know that well because lots of it doesn't look how I'd assume it would, and that's the one I always get wrong most often. I tend to click Australia, or I'll end up in England, France, America. I end up all around the world, but I never get it right when it's South Africa. So that's an interesting little point, and it's definitely worth jumping on this website and giving it a go if no one has. Have you played GeoGuessr, Dean?
That's beautiful, mate. I kind of wish we'd left you to be the final note because that's really nice. I have played GeoGuessr. I enjoy it. I can't remember if it was you who turned me onto it. I believe it was. I think
it probably was because there was I actually found it out because of a YouTuber called GeoWizard who is a master at this game. He's exceptionally good. I can't work out how he's so good at it. He even has people who send him photos of themselves on holiday standing anywhere, and it's literally just a photo, and he can exactly pinpoint it with a bit of Google searching and Google Earth, and he can literally find exactly where these people are. It's really worth checking out his channel too, actually. So I'll give him a little shout out too. It's GeoWizard. He does some really cool stuff, like try and travel across Scotland in a completely straight line, which is quite fun because he has to cut across people's gardens, walk through big industrial complexes, cross motorways, jump over fences. So that's also worth having a look at.
He sounds really cool, man. That was a very good shout out.
Well, thank you. I wasn't sure what to go for this morning, and when I went for GeoGuessr, I thought that might be a bit odd, but I thought it's more than just a game. It really does, like I say, it. What I like about it is how it just really, brings the planet together, which I think is good.
That's amazing. Oh, that's lovely, mate. Definitely something to celebrate.
It is. So, and just to end the series, Dean, I'll let you do the final shout out. What is it you want to bring everyone's attention to?
Well, as we were talking about celebrating, I thought to finish on a bit of a high, my shout out was the fact that festivals are back and social gatherings are now back in the UK specifically, but along a lot of places around the world, they're opening back up festivals and things like that. And I think the idea of coming together, I know we've touched on it today. It's very strange that you've challenged me to dance.
That is quite uncanny. I challenged you to dance, and you're bringing up festivals reopening, and you challenged me to parts of the planet, and I've talked about GeoGuessr, which is very uncanny.
How very bizarre, isn't it? Definitely. I mean, my main point was the fact that we've been all isolated for quite some time, or many of us have been. I guess that your thing about coming together is exactly that. It's nothing beats groups of people coming together for shared passions and doing what they love and enjoy. So hopefully we can have a lot more of that this year than we've had in the previous 18 months.
Maybe people will appreciate it that little bit more, having been locked down and away for so long. People might actually take a bit more from it, might not take it for granted as much as maybe they did before.
I really hope so, because life is a beautiful thing and it should be cherished. I know they say that it's the longest goddamn thing you'll ever do, but it is short. It's fleeting. And
exactly. And today is the longest amount of time before you die. So appreciate that.
Make the most of it. Love everyone you meet.
Come together with everyone from all the different nations. You can go on GeoGuessr, see where you land, and decide to go there and meet the people.
Exactly. And have a festival there.
And have a festival, exactly. See how brilliantly we brought that together. Now that's a fantastic segue, and what a touching way to end what has been otherwise sometimes quite brutal, often ill-handled, but it's all done with great intention, hasn't it, the podcast? So we hope you've all enjoyed it.
It's been illuminating, and thank you for hosting me.
Yes, and thank you for joining me. We'll see if anyone ever listens to this. If you do, jump on the socials, leave a message. You can even tell us about this, the forfeit episode. We probably need some feedback for that. If anyone wants us to do it, we'll get it done and we'll get it posted. Listen on the credits. That tells you where to follow all our stuff because I can't remember it. But you'll hear it on the credits.
That's awesome. Thank you very much.
So thanks for joining me, Dean. I will say bye and then you can say bye and we will just disappear. So take care, everyone. That is the end of the grand finale of the WikiLinks podcast. It's been quite a journey. So bye-bye, everyone.
Piss off.
This has been a Dating Tips for Guys production, with special thanks to Freezerfix and Audacity. Follow the WikiLinks podcast on Twitter @WikiLinksPod, Instagram @WikiLinksPodcast, or email us at wikilinks.podcast@gmail.com.